إن هذا القرآن يهدي للتي هي أقوم ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا كبيرا.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Sura Al Nisa, verse 34. الرجال قوامون على النساء. Men are in charge of women, are managers of women. بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. For two reasons. What God, the advantage God has given them over the others, and for what they spend from their wealth. The second one, بما أنفقوا من أموالهم, what they spend from their wealth means nafaqa, maintenance, mahr, dowry, that they must pay to the wives. But بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض, what is the advantage here meant by the verse? Allah Tabatabai says God has created men and women with different characteristics. In a family life, for example, the woman is the source of emotion and kindness and love and affection. It doesn't mean that the man does not have any love. No, he also has it. And he also helps the family to have a more friendly environment. But the role of woman is totally different, and her role in providing the family with that friendly and lovely environment is something that cannot be done by the man. So the man also has some advantages, like some capabilities of making serious decisions in special situations, or physical abilities in enduring hard circumstances, or doing hard and difficult physical acts, some concentration, some mental ability. Sometimes you find men stronger than women. It doesn't mean that the woman does not have those qualities. No, the issue is that when you compare these two genders, you find that God has given them different levels of each quality. So بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض, because man has some advantages in this regard, God appointed man as the manager. Allah says it shows that the statement is not made in this ayah is not exclusive to the family relations. It is a general fact about the society. So in the society, those roles which require capabilities of some capabilities which are found in the male gender more, so those roles must be given to men, and some other roles must be given to women. For example, military activities, it matches more the qualities and characteristics of a man, or judgment in the judiciary system, even rulership. They require some capabilities which men are equipped more than women. فَالصَّالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتٌ حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ بِمَا حَفِظَ اللَّهُ. From this sentence, the ayah focuses on the family relation, the relation between wife and husband, and gives the characteristics of righteous women, righteous wives. As-salihat, what are their qualities? Qanitatun, their qanitat comes from qunut, meaning that they are humble and obedient. And hafizatun lil ghayb, and they protect, they guard in the absence of the husband. So qunut and hifz, two qualities here. Allah says this obedience and this hifz does not mean that there must be obedient to whatever the husband says. They are not slaves of the husband. This ayah is about the family life. So in the circle of rights and matrimonial rights and responsibilities, in that limit, the wife must be obedient to the husband, not more than that. So it may refer to the sexual relations between them, or for example, if the husband has given her some money to run the affairs of the house, and now the husband is absent, حافظات للغيب, the wife must keep the trust and must not use it for other purposes. Or حافظات, another meaning that she must not have relations with other men. بما حفظ الله, by حفظ, to protect, to guard something. بما حفظ الله, how to explain بما حفظ الله? There are two possibilities here. One possibility is that by what or with what God has reserved, because these rights of husbands that God has reserved for them, that the wife must be obedient to him regarding matrimonial issues, or that for example regarding the financial matters of the house. So Ma hafidhallah means the rights which are reserved by God for the men. So by that, the woman must be qanitat hafidhat. This is one meaning. The other possibility is that ma hafidhallah, the rights that God has reserved for women. And ba here, bima hafidhallah means ba'ul muqabala, verses. So now that God has reserved some rights for women in Islam, because before Islam women were ignored in the society, God revived their status in the society and God gave them the rights of dowry and maintenance. So now that God has given them these rights, in exchange, ba'ul muqabal, in exchange they must also be obedient and hafidhat. This is the second possibility of bima hafidhallah. Allah Ta'ala prefers the first one. واللاتي تخافون نشوزهن فعظوهن واهجروهن في المضاجع. Those women, اللاتي تخافون نشوزهن, that you fear their arrogance, that they don't abide by the divine laws and they are not obedient. So نشوزهن, nashiza, the woman who is arrogant. فعظوهن واهجروهن في المضاجع واضربوهن. 3 steps are taken and it is in order. So if the first works, then there is no permission to go to the second level. فعظوهن, first advice, just talk, speak to them, to her. واهجروهن في المضاجع, the second one is to leave them and to turn away from them. In مضاجع, in bed. It means to not to have sexual relations with them. وَضْرِبُوهُنَّ, and the last one is beating. But there is a hadith from Baqir alayhi salam explaining this ayah. الضرب بالسواك, with toothbrush, yeah, something slight. فَإِنْ أَطَعْنَكُمْ فَلَا تَبْغُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ سَبِيلًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيًّا كَبِيرًا. Then if they return to follow and not to be arrogant and they left nushuz, فَلَا تَبْغُوا عَلَيْهِنَّ سَبِيلًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيًّا كَبِيرًا. You also must stop those measures. And إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلِيًّا كَبِيرًا. This ayah is a warning to husbands, because God gave them physical abilities that they have power. They can sometimes misuse this power that God has given them to be unjust and to wrong the wives. But God says, Inna Allah kana aliyan kabira. God reminds the husband that he is Ali, all exalted, all great. So You must fear the power of God when you want to wrong others, when you want to wrong your wives. وإن خفتم شقاق بينهما فابعثوا حكما من أهله وحكما من أهلها. شقاق means split. If you fear the split between the wife and husband, how a solution is presented by this ayah. فابعثوا حكما من أهلها. حكم means arbiter. So two arbiters can be chosen, one from the family of the wife, one from the relatives and the family of the husband. Then they can negotiate. إن يريد إصلاحا يوفق الله بينهم. If they really want reconciliation, if they have the intention, يريد, if they have the intention of reconciliation, يوفق الله بينهما, God will reconcile them. So we may think that the intention of reconciliation is the natural and the normal cause for that, but again God refer it to Allah, to himself. He says it's me who bring them together, because everything, every effect is actually caused by Allah. إن الله كان عليما خبيرا. وَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ, worship Allah, وَلَا تُشْرِكُوا بِهِ شَيْئًا. Don't ascribe any partner to him. Don't commit shirk. The shirk here is the practical shirk, not the theoretical shirk. Because when ayah continues, all acts which are recommended or prohibited are mentioned in connection with Tawheed. Sometimes we may think that Tawheed is a matter of faith. It is something I think about it and then I reached to its truth, then I acknowledge it, but my act is a totally separate domain, while they are very much interconnected. So if I fail in my behavior, in my conduct of life, it is rooted in my failure in faith. And these sets of rulings, prohibitions and obligations here, they start with اعبدوا الله ولا تشركوا, prohibition on shirk. And again, it ends at the end of these verses. We see again, it ends with reminding people of believe in Allah and the Day of Judgment. So these ayahs say, if you have failures in your acts, that is because of your failure in believing in Allah and the Day of Judgment. Because the person who has true belief in Allah and the Day of Judgment, the motivation for his actions is his faith. Why do you do this? Why don't you do this? Because God told me to do and God told me not to do. Because in the Day of Judgment I will get the reward, or I want to be saved from the punishment. So a true believer, a true faithful, acts according to his faith and considers the Day of Judgment. But the person who doesn't believe, or who just nominally believes, but this belief has not penetrated into his heart, what he does is because of his desires. He follows his desires. He doesn't think about the Day of Judgment. He, out of his love for this world, for the fame and reputation, for wealth, he acts. And these ayahs gives us examples. وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا وَبِذِي الْقُرْبَى, do good to your parents, ذِي الْقُرْبَى, relatives, يتامى, orphans, masakin, the poor, والجار ذي القربى والجار الجنوب والصاحب بالجنب وابن السبيل وما ملكت أيمانكم. 5 groups. First, الجار. Second, also الجار, neighbors, but 2 groups. الجار ذي القربى, قربى means closeness. جار ذي القربى, the close, the near neighbors. والجار الجنوب, junub is similar to the word ajnabi, means far. والجار الجنوب, those neighbors who are far from you. Here Allama says we have a hadith defining neighborhood. It says that according to some hadith, up to 40 dhira. 40 dhira is almost equal to 20 meters. Up to 20 meters from your house are considered your neighbors. And there is another hadith saying up to 40 houses. It's different. Allama says one may be the criterion for Jarid al-Qurba, that is the 20 meters, and the other one can be the criterion for the Jar al-Junub, the far neighbors. وَالصَّاحِبِ بِالْجَنْبِ. As-sahib means companion. Bil-jam, jam means the side. So means the companion next to you when you travel or even when you're at home. But you have some people who accompany you. So do good to them. إحسانا in the beginning of the verse. بالوالدين إحسانا. Do good to all these people. والدين, مساكين, جار ذي الغربة, جار الجنوب, وصاحب الجنب, وابن السبيل, the stranded travelers. ما ملكت أيمانكم, your slaves. إن الله لا يحب من كان مختالا فخورا. God does not like مختال and فخور, the person who is proud. For example, he is very rich and he is proud of his wealth. There is خيلاء in it. خيلاء and خيال, they all are from the same roots from which mukhtar comes. And fakhur, it means boastful. Mukhtar, according to Allama Tabatabai, his heart is attached to this world through love of wealth and money. Fakhur, his heart is attached to this world through fame and reputation. He is a lover of his social position, his reputation and fame. And both are against Tawheed, real Tawheed, practical Tawheed, Tawheed Amali, Tawheed in action. The next ayahs explain more about these two. الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ وَيَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبُخْلِ. The first group, those who have attachment to the wealth. يَبْخَلُونَ, they're stingy. They don't give away charities. يَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبُخْلِ. And they command others to be like them, to be stingy. Do they advise them? Maybe. It may be through advice, or through their action. When they act this way in the society, and they are rich people, and everybody looks at them, others also take them as models, role models. وَيَكْتُمُونَ مَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ. And they conceal the grace and the bounties God has given them. God has given them so many mercies, their wealth, but they hide it because they are afraid if someone may ask them, make a demand. So they don't show their wealth. وَأَعْتَدْنَا لِلْكَافِرِينَ عَذَابًا مُهِينًا. They were not talking about kafirin, we were talking, about probably even Muslims. This ayah, according to Allama, al-kafirin here doesn't mean they're non-believers. Kafara in Arabic, kufr means to hide. Even kafir is called kafir because he hides his fitrah. He hides the truth, oneness of God. But here, kafirin means the person who hides and conceals the mercies of Allah, because a bakhil, stingy person, he doesn't show the mercies that God has given him. وَالَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ رِئَاءَ النَّاسِ. We talked of two groups. First group who had attachment to the wealth and money, and the second group who have attachment to reputation. الَّذِينَ يُنْفِقُونَ أَمْوَالَهُمْ. They give money, they give away, they spend, but what is their purpose? رِئَاءَ النَّاسِ. So that to be admired by people, to be shown. وَلَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَلَا بِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. But they don't have belief in Allah in the Day of Judgment. They may say that I am a Muslim, I believe in Allah. But this is not a real faith, because a real faith prevents the person from doing something, from doing infaq for the sake of people. He must do it for the sake of Allah. And he must seek Allah's reward in the Day of Judgment, بِالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ. The person who is seeking the pleasure of people in this world so that people talk positively about him when he gives sadaqah, he doesn't have real belief in the Day of Judgment. He has totally ignored the real rewards of infaq, which is in the Day of Judgment. يَكُنِ الشَّيْطَانُ لَهُ قَرِينًا فَسَاءَ قَرِينًا. And this ayah again also shows that Shaitan is the companion of mura'i, of the person who does riya. So mukhtalan fakhuran, we had two verses before. Mukhtal is connected to الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ وَيَأْمُرُونَ, And فخور is connected to this ayah الذين ينفقون أموالهم رئاء الناس. وماذا عليهم? What harm would it have for them لو آمنوا بالله واليوم الآخر, if they had believed in Allah in the day of judgment, وأنفقوا مما رزقهم الله, and if they did infaq from what God has given them, from what God has provided them with. Because they don't do infaq. The stingy bakhil does not give money. Mura'i, the person who does riyah and show off, he gives money, but not for Allah. This is not for Allah. This is for the sake of his reputation in the society. وَكَانَ اللَّهُ بِهِمْ عَلِيمًا إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَظْلِمُ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ. Allah does not wrong any person. Even mithqala dharra. Mithqal means the way. Even as much as the way of a dharra. Dharra has different definitions. One meaning of dharra is a very tiny ant. So even as much as the way of a tiny ant, or dharra means the particle of dirt, a particle of dirt. So no injustice. There is no dhulm, no injustice. What is the connection between this ayah and the previous ayahs? We are talking about the importance of infaq and spending in the way of Allah. This ayah shows that although Allah is so just, وَإِن تَكُ حَسَنَةً يُضَاعِفْهَا, if that act that you do, the charity that you pay, or the act that you do is hasanatan, a good act, يُضَاعِفْهَا, God not only rewards it, God will multiply it. وَيُؤْتِ مِن لَدُنْهُ أَجْرًا عَظِيمًا, God gives a great reward. Despite this fact, it's strange why these people do not give charity, for the sake of Allah. فكيف إذا جئنا من كل أمة بشهيد وجئنا بك على هؤلاء شهيدا. How shall it be when we bring you as a witness? When we bring from every ummah, every community a witness, and we bring you as a witness. Allama says that we already explained, Allama already explained about the concept of witness and shaheed and shahada in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 143. So here Allama does not explain more. يَوْمَئِذٍ, and it's the day of judgment, the day where the witnesses are brought. يَوْمَئِذٍ يَوَدُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَعَصَوُا الرَّسُولَ لَوْ تُسَوَّى بِهِمُ الْأَرْضِ. On that day, the day of judgment, kuffar, those who denied the Prophet, and those who disobeyed, عَصَوْا, kafaru, to deny, عَصَوْا, to disobey, those who disobeyed the Prophet. It doesn't say who disobeyed Allah, it says who disobeyed the Prophet. Allama Tabatabai says it shows this asyan and disobedience here was not in regard with Sharia, divine laws. It was about commands of the Prophet as a ruler of the Muslim society. The Prophet had a position of ruling the Muslim society, and as the head of that society, he issued orders and commands. Those who disobeyed those orders, they like يَوَدُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا, they wish لَوْ تُسَوَّى بِهِمُ الْأَرْضِ, if the earth was leveled with them. In the day of judgment, they have this wish. It means they wish if they die. لَوْ تُسَوَّى بِهِمُ الْأَرْض means death here. Like another phrase we have in some other verses, يَا لَيْتَنِي كُنْتُ تُرَابًا, I wish I was dust. It means I did not exist, I have died. وَلَا يَكْتُمُونَ اللَّهَ حَدِيثًا. لَا يَكْتُمُونَ is connected to يَوَدُّ. Is يَوْمَئِذٍ يَوَدُّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا وَيَوْمَئِذٍ لَا يَكْتُمُونَ اللَّهَ حَدِيثًا. In that day, in the day of judgment, لَا يَكْتُمُونَ اللَّهَ حَدِيثًا, they cannot conceal any word from Allah. So whatever they say, it is known. يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَا تَقْرَبُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَأَنْتُمْ سُكَارَى. This ayah is about drinking alcohol. They don't see, we don't see any connection between this verse and the verses before, nor the verses after. When you consider the whole context of the verses, you find the verses are connected, except this one. It's like a break in the chain of verses about infaq and about what the Jews will continue, speaking about what Ahlul Kitab did. But this ayah does not match. Allah Ta'ala says, sometimes, probably, a set of verses were revealed in a gradual process to the Prophet over time. For example, in a period of, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Certain verses were being revealed to the Prophet, one after another, about one theme. But in the middle, something happened which necessitates addressing a certain issue in between. Because that day something happened in Medina, and a particular verse was revealed about that issue. And then after that, the previous theme continued. It's possible, it's a possibility. So probably this ayah, لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى, chronologically was revealed after the previous verses and before the coming verses. But thematically, there is no connection between them, and it's not necessary to form a connection here. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى. Don't approach prayer while you are intoxicated. Allah says actually prayer here means don't approach the mosque, because when it continues وَلَا جُنُوبًا إِلَّا عَابِرِ سَبِيلٍ, in the state of janaba, the person must not approach the mosque, must not enter the mosque إِلَّا عَابِرِ سَبِيلٍ, except while passing through. So salat here stands for mosque, but because in the mosque the most normal act which is performed in the mosque is prayer, so it is natural to mention salat and mean mosque. This ayah is about prohibition on drinking. Previously, under the verse 219 from Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah Ta'ala explained in details the verses revealed about alcohol and drinking, and suggested this chronology, that first of all, the verse number 67 of Surah Al-Nahl, تَتَّخِذُونَ مِنْهُ سَكَرًا وَرِزْقًا حَسَنًا, was revealed, followed by verse 33 of Surah A'raf, قُلْ إِنَّمَا حَرَّمَ رَبِّيَ الْفَوَاحِشَ مَا ظَهَرَ مِنْهَا وَبَطَنَ وَالْإِثْمِ. Though this ayah has no mention of alcohol drinking, but the word al-ithm is there. Then this verse, Surah Al Nisa, this verse, يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى. After that, the verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, يسألونك عن الخمر والميسر, 219. And finally, the verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah, verse 90, إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه. Allah says that there is a possibility of exchanging the number 3 and number 4, and to say that this ayah in Surah An-Nisa was revealed after the ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah, though the previous order looks more likely. Ayah says, لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى. This ayah talks about avoiding intoxication when they wanted to go to the mosque for prayer. So it can be said that to avoid intoxication while praying. حتى تعلموا ما تقولون. حتى تعلموا means until you know what you say. It means that the person is not intoxicated. Does it mean that this sentence shows that after the state of intoxication is gone now, it's okay, and that prohibition is over, or it means that the purpose of legislating this law was حتى تعلموا ما تقولون. Allama says the second possibility is true. That what is the reason, what is the cause of prescribing this Sharia law? Why did God ordered you to avoid drinking at the moment of prayer? The purpose, the objective was حتى تعلموا ما تقولون, so that to be in state of understanding what you say. You must not harm your intellectual abilities. ولا جنبا إلا عابر سبيل حتى تغتسلوا. The second sentence is about another issue. Junub, janaba, ritual impurity, that in a state of ritual impurity you must not enter the mosques. إلا عابر سبيل حتى تغتسلوا, except while passing through. Allama does not explain the verse here because we have a similar verse in Surah Al-Ma'idah. Allama postpones description of this ayah to that ayah in Surah Al-Ma'idah. So the rest of the verse also, وَإِن كُنتُم مَرْضَى وَعَلَى سَفَرٍ, until the end of the verse, inshallah, will be explained then. أَلَمْ تَرَ إِلَى الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا نَصِيبًا مِنَ الْكِتَابِ يَشْتَرُونَ الضَّلَالَ وَيُرِيدُونَ أَن تَضِلُّوا السَّبِيلَ. It talks about people of the book, and Allama says with focus on the Jews. Have you not regarded those who have been given a share of the book? It was explained why a share, because the book was distorted, so not the whole book was a divine book. A part of that was altered. يشترون الضلالة, they buy misguidance. ويريدون أن تضلوا السبيل, and they want you to lose the way, to be misguided. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.